to my channel. I'm Brianna, and today is the best day of my life because I am here with you guys. So today we're doing a, well, sort of a relaxed hair Q&A, I guess. Some questions may be off topic a little bit, but I have a special guest, Essence. Y'all definitely go make sure you follow her on Instagram, follow her on YouTube as well, because she's gonna start uploading. So y'all comment, like, yeah, comment under her pictures on Instagram and be like, girl, where's the videos? Where's the YouTube videos? So excuse my head, y'all. Excuse me, I look a hot mess, but we're gonna just jump right into it. So you can go first, Essence.
Okay. By the way, my Instagram handle is @_Ecoop. That's @_ECOOP.
I'm gonna put it on the screen.
So head over there, follow your girl. So first question I got is, how do you recommend going from natural to Texlax? Well, first of all, make sure that that's absolutely what you want to do first and foremost, because once you chemically process your hair, there is no going back. So make sure you are absolutely sure that's what you want to do. If you could find somebody in your area that's familiar with Texlaxing, a professional, someone where you can look at their work and see if it aligns with what you want done, I would recommend doing that. But if you're going to self Texlax, I would do your research. Watch as many videos as you can and make sure you learn as much as possible before you go ahead and proceed to Texlax your hair, because what you can't go back. That's the main thing. You can't go back. So you want to make sure, if your goal is to Texlax, that you're not over processing your hair. It's better to kind of start at 10 to 15 minutes as far as your processing time, and that's the time that you apply and leave it on. You don't want to leave it on too long. If you under process your hair, you can always go back and go back over that hair, but if you over process, then that's that. You can't go back and retexturize your hair. So yeah, that's basically it. Just make sure you do as much research as possible. Make sure you're absolutely sure before you proceed, and always make sure to under process before you over process. So, but with Texlaxing, there is a learning curve, especially if you're doing it yourself. So they do have some Texlaxing kits. I know ORS has one, and I just collabed with Africa's Best on a Texlax kit as well. Those are ideal for beginners because they are only formulated to process your hair so much. So I would maybe aim to use one of those versus a regular relaxer. But if you do want to use a regular relaxer, I do have some videos on my Instagram that are easy to follow, and they are a lot on YouTube as well. So
yeah, and
to add on that,
I just feel like people, like, you can't look at my hair, you can't look at Essence hair, you can't look at anyone's hair who is relaxed and expect for your hair to do the exact same thing. Like, everybody's hair is different, and you have to figure out what's gonna work for you. So I think everything you said, spot on.
That's that. Next question.
Okay, so how often do you do protein treatments? For example, using a heavy protein like ORS hair mayonnaise. So to me, guys, I don't think that ORS hair mayonnaise is like a heavy protein treatment. I think it can be for some people, but for me, a heavy protein treatment would be AFUG 2-step protein treatment. And for me, I say that because that protein treatment, when you put it on your hair, like, that's the only thing that is for. Like, it's to use protein on your hair. And also the AFUG protein treatment is like, you can see instant results, kind of like with Olaplex. You see instant results, and that's why I say that the AFUG protein treatment is more of on the heavier side for me. And this may be different for everybody else because people's hair react to protein in different ways. So if you're more on the lighter side of protein and you're protein sensitive, I would definitely say go in with hair mayonnaise. How often, it really just depends on your hair and what's going on with your hair. I kind of just play it by how my hair is reacting. Maybe if I'm not feeling like that really and I can really tell when I need protein when my hair is wet. So I just make sure, like, usually when my hair is like squeaky, like in I don't know how to really explain it, but when I use protein, my hair is like squeaky, like when it's wet, and you can really see and feel that it's
like a firmness.
Yeah, it's like a firmness. I hope I'm explaining that right. So when I don't feel that anymore and it starts to wear off, then that's when I want to go in with the AffiG protein treatment. So, and I usually do those like before I get a relaxer, and that's what I did this time. And of course, I feel like that's the best time, because you want to make sure that your hair is strong and healthy and in a good state to go like in with the relaxer. Yeah. So
yeah.
Like I said, I think protein treatments is different for everybody. Like I said, you have to do a trial and error. If this is something new for you and you're just starting a healthy hair journey, you want to make sure you know how much protein your hair needs and what it can handle, and what is like too much for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for hard protein, I would say once a month. And then you can kind of alter, because a lot of conditioners have protein in them already. So most conditioners aren't protein free. It's a couple of them that are, but so you can use a protein, like something with some light protein, and then you can use your hard protein once a month. ORS hair mayo does have a lot of protein in it, but it's very moisturizing. It's something you can use as just like a deep conditioner.
Right.
I still wouldn't recommend using that like once a week or anything. If you wanted to use that, maybe like bi-weekly or once a month. That's the choice of protein I use, and I use it like once a month. If I feel like my hair needs it, I may use it twice in a month, but it's something you don't have to go after or follow with the moisturizing conditioner. I get that question a lot, but that's very moisturizing. So
exactly, and that's kind of what I explained when I used it in my last video. Like, I love that protein treatment simply because it's also moisturizing, and it, for me, I feel like it's helping your hair. I feel like products, like I think I tried the Palmer's protein pack, and that was literally like the worst. Like, I just didn't like how it made my hair feel.
Never tried that one.
And it's definitely a protein, and it's not moisturizing at all. So your hair just feels really dry, and I just don't like that. And I feel like there's more productive ways of implementing protein into my hair journey, instead of using something that I don't really like how it makes my hair feel. So
yeah.
And you don't use AffiG at all, do you?
I have used it before. I do like it. I just have opted for other things over the years. So I just kind of switch up stuff every now and then. Lately, I've been using the ORS hair mayo. So
yeah, so I feel like ORS is definitely your hard protein. Yeah. And then I use AffiG more as a hard protein for me. So like I said, guys, it's different. And that's another reason why I wanted Essence to come on, is because you can kind of see the difference in what we do and what works for us. And we don't always do, well, we don't never do the same things.
Typically, no.
Yeah, no.
We use like completely different products. Yes. Like down from our relaxers to our deep conditioners. So yeah. But I'm more of a product junkie than she is. Yes. So this girl, like, I buy everything.
And that's why you need to be on YouTube, so you could like tell these people, because I don't use that many products, guys. Like,
but yeah, just don't overdo it with the protein. That's one thing you don't want to do, because it can cause adverse effects and make your hair hard, and it cause your shit to break off. So you don't want to overdo it. Yeah. Once or twice a month, that's it. With hard protein, at least.
Yeah. But like I said, I feel like AffiG is stronger. So for me, I probably do AffiG maybe every 2 months.
AffiG is more concentrated. Yeah, that's why they only recommend, you only need to leave it on for like a couple minutes. I know, like the hair mayo, I can leave that on for hours. I won't have any issues. But yeah. So AffiG is more of an intense protein treatment.
Definitely.
So yeah. Okay, so this one can kind of piggyback off yours. Do you use a moisturizing deep conditioner after hard protein treatments? No. Personally, no. Unless when I was doing AffiG, yeah, you have to use a conditioner after that. But I've never used anything that I do black tea treatments sometimes. So but that's technically not protein, but it does make your hair firm. And it strengthens the hair, and it helps with shedding. So I would use a deep conditioner after that. But when I use my ORS hair mayo, I don't need to, because like I said, it's already moisturizing enough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I just did a protein treatment update video on my channel, guys, I'll leave it up in the cards. But the AfterG 2-step protein treatment has a balancing moisturizer that comes with it. So for me, that suffices for bringing back the moisture and everything in my hair. But you can also double up and use another moisturizing conditioner if you would like, if your hair needs it, if you feel that your hair needs it. So again, I feel like you should just do what you feel that your hair needs. You have to listen to your hair. It'll tell you what it wants, basically. So okay, the next question is, why isn't scalp care a part of any hair journey discussion? So I don't know why this particular person hasn't heard that, but I feel like the scalp, even if you don't say scalp care specifically, I feel like scalp care is definitely a part of every hair journey discussion, because that's where the roots of all your hair comes from. Like, that's where your hair comes out of. So of course, just in general, when on relaxer day, we're basing our scalp, around our skin. That's scalp and skin treatment for a hair journey. Also, when you were saying wash with a clarifying shampoo, you're washing your scalp. Scalp care. Also, like during relaxer day, you want to make sure that you do not have any burning sensation on your scalp, because that's definitely a part of scalp care during a relaxed hair journey, because you don't want to have burns on your scalp. That definitely can damage the hair follicles and just do a lot of damage. So that's something that you want to stay away from.
Scalp burns are not normal either. You should never have a scalp burn ever.
Yeah,
from a relaxer.
I feel like these are things that are said all the time, but they're
just not specifically categorized as scalp care.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a lot that goes into scalp care. It's super important, and it's definitely always a part of a hair journey.
It is, because hair cannot thrive in a bad environment. So the main thing is keeping your scalp clean. Length retention has more to do with like the length of your hair maintenance. So that's why people mostly focus on the length of their hair, because your hair is the strongest at the root. So your roots pretty much just need to be clean. People do apply like growth oils and stuff to stimulate growth and to nourish their roots. And you want to apply leave-in conditioners. You want to keep the root, you want to pay some close attention to your root, but most of the attention as far as length retention needs to be on the length of your hair.
And that's mostly what people ask about. But
so yeah, as far as hair maintenance,
a clean scalp, and also just moisturizing the scalp, making sure it's not dry.
Yeah, and not clogged. How do you avoid overprocessing your hair when you Texlax? How often do you Texlax? Okay, so for me, the way I avoid overprocessing is I stretch my relaxers. 3 to 6 months. Most of the time, I only relax 2 times a year, sometimes 3, depending on how my growth is for the year. Some years my hair grows a lot faster than others. So I typically aim to have about 4 or 5 inches of new growth. That can seem like kind of outlandish to some people, especially if you're kind of just starting off. But when you're self-texlaxing or self-relaxing, it's important that you're not overprocessing your hair. So having a significant amount of new growth is just going to decrease the chances of you overlapping your relaxer. And then Texlaxing itself, your hair is already intentionally under processed, so it's kind of hard to overprocess Texlax hair because your hair still has texture. Versus you being relaxed, bone straight, and kind of it's hard to not overlap that way. And then, so yeah, I answered both of those. So how often do I Texlax? About 2 to 3 times a year. So and then I would say at a minimum you shouldn't be relaxing again before 10 weeks. That should be a minimum. For me, I would personally say 12 weeks, but at minimum, if you are a person starting off, I would say try to go for at least 10 weeks. If you're even if you're going to a salon, minimum would be 10 weeks. Because you don't need a relaxer that often. It's all in your head, sis. And then yeah, the way I prevent overprocessing is to just stretch my relaxers as long as I can. Now, you don't want to get to the point where your hair is breaking. If you feel like you can't maintain your hair for a long stretch, everybody can't do 5 to 6 month stretches. If you want to cap it at 3 months or 10 weeks, if that's what you feel like you can do, then do that. But you definitely shouldn't be relaxing every 4 to 6 weeks. That's way too often, and you're gonna be more prone to breakage that way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A lot of people have like asked me, am I Texlax? I always say my hair has texture, but I don't Texlax intentionally. Like, I don't do anything different. But I do, my relaxer process is 16 minutes, and that's with me putting it on and I'm in the shower rinsing it out, and that's like 16 minutes only. So I don't leave it on that long. So I think just your processing time should be a little bit shorter if you want to leave texture. And also, like, smoothing, as smoothing's concerned, I don't really like smooth my hair. I may just smooth my edges, but other than that, I'm not doing like any extensive smoothing. So I feel like if you want to be Texlax, I think using an actual Texlaxing system is definitely a great way to go, like Essence does. But if you don't really, care too much about Texlaxing, but you do want to keep texture, I would just say, cut down on processing time and don't
smoothing.
Yeah. As a relaxed girl, do you rinse with cool water?
I rinse with cool water. I feel like it's ideal. It closes the cuticle.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that you should rinse with cool water. I mean, before I started doing that, I still had a lot of hair. So, I mean, but I think it helps as far as shine and as far as moisture retention. Yeah. Rinsing with cool water.
Conditioner, for sure. You want to make sure that the hair is cool to cold, for sure, to close your cuticles. But like I said, on Relaxer Day, I usually like lukewarm to almost cold.
Yeah, but you should never be putting scorching hot water on your hair. Warm enough to kind of open the hair shaft so your product can penetrate better, but it should never be like scorching hot. And if you go to a person that uses like hot water, you need to tell them turn that shit down. Turn it down, okay? Do you use anything in place of Olaplex? There is no dupe for Olaplex, okay? Olaplex, there's nothing like Olaplex, okay? It's worth the price. If you can dish out the $30, try Olaplex. I feel like it's something you have to try to really see what it actually does. And when I tell you, one time you use it, you gonna be a convert, okay? You gonna be budgeted for that $30. I do hate that it's in such small packaging, but it does spread easily. So if you not going ham, you can get probably about 3 uses out of it, and that's like somebody with about as much hair as us. So Cream of Nature does have a Plex breakage defense, and I kind of compared it recently on my Instagram stories. It does make your hair feel really nice and kind of similar to Olaplex, but it's not Olaplex. So there are things that do things, because Olaplex is a bond builder. It has protein, but it's technically not a protein treatment. It basically repairs bonds in the hair shaft. So it's definitely something that I feel like a relaxed girl will benefit from in their regimen. So definitely, even if you're relaxed or chemically treated at all, if you're natural with color treated hair, it'll be perfect for you as well. Get you some Olaplex, but there's nothing that is exactly like Olaplex on the market. There's things that probably come a little close, but there's nothing like it in my opinion.
Yeah. Somebody also asked me how often do I use Olaplex, so I guess you can tell them how often you use it.
Personally, because it's expensive, I use it every other week. And my hair is not damaged, so I feel like if you feel like your hair is more in a vulnerable state, then it's gentle enough to use multiple times a week. I would say once a week, because most black people are not washing their hair multiple times a week. Most of us. I mean, you can use it every wash day if you want, but I would say once a week if you feel like your hair needs some repair. But if your hair is in good shape, you can use it bi-weekly or once a month. Typically, I use it about bi-weekly.
So before I was using mine's like every wash day, which for me every wash day is probably like once a month. Boo, y'all know me, like I don't wash my hair that much. So but now I only use it like on relaxer day. I may use it in between, may, just depending on how my hair is feeling, but I definitely use it on relaxer day. After I washed and conditioned my hair and stuff, I'll use it then. And I did get that tip from Hairlicious because like Essence said, it is expensive. So just to kind of cut down on me using it, that's when I use it, guys. But I think it's a base by base thing. You can use it whenever you feel that you need it. So I'll just put these two questions together. So this girl says, what products do you currently use to heat style your hair? Serums, heat protectant, and what flat iron do you use? So I use Silk Elements heat protectant. It's just a mist. But I also I just recently tried the thing that you gave me. What's it called?
The honey and castor?
Yes, that.
Honey and castor, what is it called? It's the Africa's Best Honey and Castor thermal heat protectant.
That
thermal moisturizer.
Yes,
that's what it's called.
Thermal moisturizer.
Africa's Best Honey and Castor thermal moisturizer.
Yes. So I just recently used that, but I would say hands down for me, it's the Silk Elements for me. Like that's all I use. That's all I like. Even when I use other stuff, it's okay, but to me nothing beats the Silk Elements heat protectant because it's just lightweight and I just absolutely love it. And I use the flat iron that I use my Duval flat iron, and I also use my Babyliss flat iron. Now if I want
flat iron,
yes, so well, Duval is like if I don't want my hair to be bone straight, I want to still leave texture, I'll use that. But if I want like a silk press type of straightening, then I'll use my Babyliss thing.
For me, the best heat protectant you gonna get for the price is the Tresemme.
I knew you was gonna say
the black one with the red nozzle. It costs about $3. I promise you, that is like crack. Okay. I also I use a lot of different ones. I use the Africa's Best one. I do really like that one. I have a video on my Instagram using that one. I also use the Kiehl's Silk Protective heat protectant. Kiehl's only got one heat protectant, okay? It's in like a little white tube. I've been using that for years. It's about $20, but it lasts you a long time. And when I tell you, when I had like tailbone length hair, flat ironing was a breeze. Okay, so that one, and the Shea Moisture Miracle Styler silicone leave-in, that one's good too. I typically use that, and then I'll backdoor and double it with another one of my heat protectants too. So I kind of use all those interchangeably. Yeah, backdoor, put that, and then backdoor use another one. Okay, y'all.
So
I'm a little country.
How often do you straighten your hair?
Basically I straighten my hair when I feel like straightening. Okay, it's not often as we in Florida, it's not ideal to straighten. I can't live my life with my hair straight out here. You can't really even go out the door. It's too humid and it's too hot and it rains way too often. But typically I would say if I am doing this like once a month, like if I'm straightening my hair now, I typically won't do it again in another month or so. But sometimes I went like 6 months without straightening my hair. It just all depends on when I feel like doing it.
Yeah. Currently I straighten my hair maybe like when I get a relaxer, so that's like every 4 to 5 months. So that's just what I do. Right after relaxer day, I'll go in and blow dry and flat iron my hair, and then after that it's like wigs.
Do you help people come up with regimens? People ask me this a lot, okay? I always tell people I am not a professional, okay? I basically just share my hair journey and what I do for my hair, but what works particularly for my hair is not always going to work for everybody else. There's always a learning curve when it comes to building a hair regimen, so it'll take some time to find what works for you. You can pull. That's what I did. I basically observed other people with my hair type or other people who had achieved the hair goals that I am trying to attain, and I pull from them what I can, but you also have to take time to learn your hair, what it likes. everybody cannot wash their hair every week. That doesn't work for everybody. You know, everybody can't do a whole wash day every week. Everybody can't co-wash once a week and wash their hair. You know, so I don't build hair regimens for people because, one, I'm not a professional. I don't do hair. Everybody has a different hair to hair, so there's no way I can like correctly assess a person's hair like over the internet. So it's just like, I mean I guess there's a way to do it, but personally I don't do that. There are plenty of people that do that, but I feel like you shouldn't be getting a hair regimen from anybody but a professional that you trust at that. So you're better off trying things, seeing what works for you, and building your own regimen. That's the best way to do it. Yeah. In my opinion, at least.
Yeah. I'm definitely a cosmetologist, a professional, but I deal with clients on a regular basis that are relaxed, that are natural. I have a couple of clients that are transitioning right now, and one client in particular, I made her transition because her hair was just really bad. She wasn't getting her relaxers from me, but I don't know what was going on with her hair, and we were like kind of doing trial and error with different products. And honestly, like now that she's been transitioning for maybe about 6 months or so, we finally found like a product that is working for her hair. And even though she's transitioning, it's really taking well to her relaxed ends as well. So her hair was like really tangled and everything. So I just kind of said that tidbit to tell you guys that finding products for your hair can definitely be trial and error. It can take a while, and your hair may go through complete chaos before you can find something, especially if your hair is really damaged. So I think just doing your own research and trying to do trial and error with good products that you've seen in her that are great for other people. I think trying that stuff on your hair to see what works for you, and just over time, just finding out what's the best way for you. Like I think that's most important, especially if you're serious about a hair journey. I think you can definitely figure out a great formula for yourself.
I feel like people just want to kind of skip over doing the work. You got to do the work if you want to grow. Hair takes a lot of time, care, and patience. A lot of TLC, okay? You got to put in the work. You're not just going to look at something and see it. And I mean, you may look out and be able to find that, but the processes, it's easy to find. But as far as like finding products that work for you, that's going to be trial and error. You got to put in a little bit of work.
Right. How do you keep your hair healthy at the beach pool?
We don't do a lot of that.
Yeah. And even when, first of all, I don't even know how to swim, so it's not like I'm down in the water like this. Like, and honestly, if I do go to the beach or the pool, I may have like a protective style in or something. I just think that if you're gonna go to the chlorine pool and the saltwater beach, I think you need to come home and immediately like clarify your hair, do a deep condition, make sure that you get it back to its normal pH balance, and make sure that it's soft, manageable, and everything like that. And make sure you get those different like salt water and chlorine. Make sure that's like out of your hair before you go into like another style or whatever after the pool.
The best thing you can do, especially if you're getting in chlorine, is to wet your hair before you get in there, so your hair is not going to soak up all the bad stuff that's in the pool or in the salt water. Wet your hair, and you can either put some oil on it. I would typically do coconut oil or put like conditioner on it before you get in. That way your hair is already in an expanded state, so it's not going to soak up as much water in the pool or in the ocean as it would. Salt water is not as bad, but chlorine can be pretty harsh on the hair. So yeah, just wet your hair prior to getting in there and coat it with something like oil or conditioner, and you'll be good to go.
And if you can, maybe wear like one of those caps, like what they call them, the wet
those
caps.
Those ugly though, and if you got a lot of hair, our hair don't fit. Them ain't made for us, okay? They not made for us.
I don't know.
So
I don't get in the water.
I tried to wear a swimming cap one time.
It ain't work?
No, it wasn't for me. So if you want to go ham, just put some on your hair prior to, and make sure you use a clarifying shampoo after. You good. What advice can you give about the ends? If they are split, let it go. Let it go. Cut it off. I promise you, it's the best thing you can do, and you will feel a lot better after. You may not want to cut as much as you need to. The main thing is get trims when you need to get them. A lot of people wait way too long, so they end up having to get a cut versus a trim. Every couple months, get a little trim. A trim can be like 1/4 of an inch to maybe like an inch or two. Make sure your stylist knows exactly how much you want to cut off. A lot of people have this thing with communicating with stylists. Baby, if you don't want that much of your hair cut off, don't. But if it's see-through or if it's damaged or split, it needs to be cut. Period. There's no mending that. Once your ends are split, there's no repairing them. Like there's a lot of products that are on the market that makes it seem like your split ends can be reversed. They can't. They have to be cut. That's the only cure to split ends. So, but maintain your ends throughout the year. That way, when you go to the salon, you don't have to get as much cut. You can just get a little trim and you'll be good to go. But if a stylist is recommending you cut X amount off, then typically, especially if it's one you trust, I think it's best to go ahead and allow them to cut that. That way you can start with a fresh head of hair. And when your ends are up to par, your hair behaves a lot better and it takes product a lot better. So if they split, let them go. Yeah. That's my advice.
A lot of people ask me about ends. How often do you trim your ends? How do you keep them healthy? So I sometimes self-trim, just depending on like who I have to do it for me, or if I don't have anybody to do it for me, I'll do it myself. But I think it's really important to have someone else do it, just because someone that you trust, because you can't like do it how somebody else can, especially because it's like the back, like it's in the back of your head,
especially a thorough trim.
Exactly. A lot of people make that mistake of not going to a professional or just someone who knows how to trim ends. So I think that's really important. Find somebody you trust to do it for you. And I think you did say how often. I definitely agree. I would say just trim whenever you can, like, or whenever your hair is out or straight, or I feel like trimming as much as possible or as much as needed is really, really important, because you don't want your ends to get away from you. And that's definitely happened to me so many times. But when you stay on top of it, it's good, and you can really, really see like healthy results. So, and I think along with like deep conditions, that can definitely help your ends stay healthy after the trims and stuff. So
keeping them properly moisturized, paying attention, especially when you're styling your hair. But I will say, if you're not wearing your hair down as much, you don't need to trim as much. But you still need to trim. People think because they wear weaves or they keep their hair braided, they don't need trims. You still got to make sure your ends are maintained. But the more you manipulate your, like for me, I wear my hair down a lot. Most of the time I have my hair down most of the year. So I have to trim a lot more than like a person that wears their hair in braids a lot or wears like weaves or wigs as their style of choice. But everybody needs to get trims, okay? Before your stylist installs your weave or your braids, make sure they check out your ends. A good stylist will do this regardless, but some of y'all be going to y'all cousin thems and letting them braid your hair and stuff. Make sure your ends are up to par before you put them in those styles. That way your hair is going to be in the best condition when you take it down. Yeah, for sure. So this person says, would you consider buying a hair steamer to use with a deep conditioner in place of going under the dryer? Not necessarily in place of, I don't know. I feel like a hair steamer has different benefits than a hair dryer. Like sitting under a hair dryer, I think it's probably good to have both. I haven't gotten a hair steamer. Like, I've always wanted to actually have that, but I just feel like right now I don't have, like, just have too much stuff. And once I'm like able to just be like in a bigger space, then I'll probably get one. But I think it's very essential to have both a hair dryer and a steamer. A steamer adds moisture into your hair, and I also feel like if you're taking a hot shower, and the steam in the shower can be very beneficial if you don't have an actual steamer. But I definitely think
a steamer is great to expand the hair cuticles, get the product in there, add moisture to your hair. It just has so many benefits. And you know, as well, if you want to do the cap and just sit under a hooded dryer and do it that way. So yeah, what you think
about a steamer? I definitely think they're beneficial as far as like especially for like your thicker conditioners, having them penetrate. And I heard Olaplex is really good, especially when you have a steamer too. Yeah, it's like amplified.
Wow.
So it's definitely something I want to invest in, but I want to invest in a good one because steamers ain't cheap. You can find some like for like $50-$60 on Amazon, but I kind of want to invest in like one of the $100 ones.
Yeah. One
of the ones that stand up on their own.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think if you can afford one, it's a good investment. But for now, I just use basically like heat from my dryer.
Heat from the dryer.
So yeah, it's not something you have to attain healthy hair, because I've never had a steamer ever. But I've gotten steam treatments at the salon and they're really nice, I'm not gonna lie. But you can just have a regular dryer to for like that extra penetration,
especially if you have low porosity hair.
Cause
that might be
low porosity hair.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for a good oil for dry hair? For really dry hair, I would definitely recommend Jamaican black castor oil, or castor oil in general. I personally prefer Jamaican black castor oil. An easy oil mixture, especially if you're doing a hot oil treatment. 1 part coconut oil, 1 part Jamaican black castor oil, and a few drops of rosemary. Easy, bomb. Make sure you get like the pure organic virgin oil. That's the most effective. Make sure it's not refined oil, and use it as a hot oil treatment, or you can use it as scalp massages. It works good either way, but they will add moisture to the strands. And the good thing about oils is they penetrate the hair. Well, there's coconut oil, avocado oil, and olive oil. Those are the 3 penetrating oils that are known to penetrate the hair shaft. So basically they nourish your hair from within. But oils aren't technically moisturizers. So you can't just do your hair and then put oil on it and it's gonna maintain its moisture. Oils help seal in the moisture. And if you're using it as a hot oil treatment, it helps throughout your shampoo process, your cleansing process. It helps you retain more moisture in your hair. It helps the shampoo not strip your hair as much. But you will have to put a moisturizer on and then add the oil. I wouldn't recommend sealing with Jamaican black castor oil because it can weigh your hair down because she thick. For sealants, I would go for something like jojoba oil or argan oil or coconut oil, something like that. But
especially like for people who have fine hair.
Yeah.
Like I never recommend like Jamaican black castor oil.
Yeah, not for sealing, definitely. Right. Now if you have thinner hair, castor oil definitely helps with thickening, but I would use it as either just like a light scalp massage or oil treatment. Don't be just putting Jamaican black castor on your hair. You're gonna be out here looking crazy. Okay, but those are the main oils that I would recommend. There are some oils on the market that you can buy if you're a person you don't like mixing stuff up. It's plenty ones you can buy. There Camille Rose Naturals has a really good one that I use. Also Alakay Naturals has the Essential 17 oil. That's a very good scalp massage oil as well. And it's already formulated for you, so you don't have to really do any of the mixing.
Yeah, and I also love my Atarah Hair Oil, but y'all already know that. I always use that oil. It's really, really good. What is the difference between low and high porosity? So let me just break it down for y'all. So porous. Porous means, so let's just think about porous meaning like you're pouring something into something. And then high means you're getting a lot of pore. And then low means you're getting a little bit of pore. So basically, high porosity hair is hair that literally sucks every little single thing, like sucks everything that you put on it. They suck it up. And low porosity hair means that your hair is not getting anything that you're putting on there, whether it's water or whatever it is. It's not receiving it.
Low porosity hair rejects water.
Exactly.
Like the hair where the water just beat up on the hair.
Exactly.
That's low porosity hair.
Exactly. And that's like a really good indicator, like seeing the water just beat up on your hair. And that's why we just said like a steamer or something like that would be great for people who have low porosity hair, because the steam is gonna conjunction and make it to where your hair follicles will raise and be able to get all of that good stuff that it needs inside. So that's the difference. That's the difference.
The easy way to know is when you're going to like wet your hair to shampoo it, if it doesn't get saturated easy, it takes you a long time for your hair to get fully saturated,
right,
then your hair is on the low porosity side.
Absolutely. And I also recommend, like, if you do have low porosity hair, like, I would recommend pre-pooling and like just different things to get your hair ready for wash day to receive those different products.
Okay, so what does Texlax mean? I'm 100% relaxed, I think. It's really easy. People make Texlaxing more, like the idea of it more difficult than what it really is. It's basically just purposely under processing your hair. So basically you relax your hair, but you're still leaving texture. You're not relaxing it bone straight. So like wet, my hair still has like a slight wave or a curl, whatever you want to call it, to it, versus just being straight like a regular relaxer. So I just don't leave my hair on, my relaxer on as long, nor do I smooth my hair, because my goal is not to get my hair straight. It's just to make it a little more manageable. But I like to consider it like my happy medium. It's like a medium between being natural and relaxed. So
it says, I think you said a long time ago you used no lye relaxer. If so, what made you switch to lye? So I've never said that I use no lye relaxer. I've always used a lye relaxer, whether that was going to the hair salon or whatever. Usually the hair salon is using a lye relaxer. They're not in there mixing up stuff. So basically the difference is a no lye relaxer is more harsher on the hair, and a lye relaxer is more harsher on the scalp. That's what it claims to do. But I would say with the lye relaxer, if you base your scalp and you don't scratch your scalp and you make sure that try not to get relaxer on your scalp, you're going to be okay usually with a lye relaxer. A no lye relaxer, it has a lot of calcium in it, which is why it is harsher on the hair, because sometimes you can get like a calcium buildup and you'll have like a film on your hair and it's like really waxy, and it's not really good for your hair. So that's why I choose to use a no lye relaxer, because I just feel like it's better for me and I don't have scalp issues. So I guess that's just something you can kind of figure out on your own, like if you have scalp issues, if you don't, like, I don't know. And honestly, I feel like if you have scalp issues, using any type of chemical probably isn't smart at all. So yeah,
I've used both. I would say most of my hair journey I've used box relaxers. So but that's just personally me. I've never had like any issues with using the no lye.
Right.
So but I've used lye before. I've used them in it because ORS has both. Most brands have both, but I know particularly ORS does. They have a few box relaxers, and then they have the lye one. I know Hairlicious uses the lye one.
Yep, she uses the dry relaxer.
I've used both and I've had no problem like just switching from one to the other.
Right.
So it just depends on your hair and what you prefer. So mine is, when you transition to Texlax, how long did it take you to be fully Texlaxed? I only transitioned for like a year, and then I ended up having to cut my hair off because I had a setback thanks to Hairfinity. So yeah, I took some Hairfinity pills and they work, but when I stopped taking them, my hair started falling out and shedding excessively, and you could see right through my hair, and naturally I have like pretty thick hair, and so I just cut it all off, and I cut it to shoulder length. So at that point my hair was fully Texlaxed. But I did plan on fully transitioning into, I never planned on big chopping, or if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, I never planned on chopping all my hair off, but after about a year into it, my hair is about shoulder length. So, and that at that point, I had to cut all my hair off. So, yeah, it didn't take that long. But I feel like it would have, for my hair to get like to about waist length, typically it takes me like 2.5, 3 years to grow my hair to waist length. So it probably would have took about that long to be fully Texlax if I had done it that way. Okay.
Help with air drying. So I don't air dry, like
I don't either.
That is for the birds.
No.
I just hate.
What you say you look like that time when you had air dried?
I don't remember.
What did you say?
Did I say Lion King or something?
A baby something. I forgot.
I don't know, y'all. I look a hot mess. Like, my hair does not do good with air drying. Everyone's different. Some people can air dry. Me, I cannot. Like, my hair be all crunchy and it's just not good at all. So I rather just moisturize and seal, and then maybe like tie my whole head up with the scarf and like make sure it's all covered. And whether I'm gonna do a braid out or a bun or something like that, I'll just leave it like that. But air drying, that's not for me.
Yeah, I don't. Only time I really even need to dry my hair is when I straighten it.
Right.
And I just blow dry. I'll do it without a comb or any type of styling tool for my hair to be mostly dry, and then when it's almost dry, going with a paddle brush and a wide tooth comb. And when I'm styling my braid outs or twist outs or anything else, those are styled on damp hair. So by the time I get it out the towel, it's dry enough. I don't need to do any extra drying. So that's just personally for me, but it depends. Air drying works for some people, but I just don't personally need to do it. So
I don't need to do it. I don't want to do it. I've tried. It don't work.
Because if you got a lot of hair, and you don't know what you're doing, you can
mess some stuff up.
You can mess your hair up. It can tangle. So I mean, you can give it a
maybe
go.
I said I had baby dreads.
Yeah, she said it, baby.
Yes, I had like baby dreads, y'all, and I detangled everything. Like, my hair was detangled, it was moisturized. I sealed it with my little oil. I was ready, but it just didn't work.
Not as easy as it seems.
Exactly. So, what ingredients do you try to avoid in hair products? So, I would say like alcohols. Definitely, you don't want to have that because that can like dry out your hair and just make like things pretty bad. I don't know what else.
It depends on there is an alcohol that's got, I think it's like the cetyl alcohol.
Like that.
That one's good. But definitely parabens. Typically I don't use sulfate shampoos. You can find a clarifying sulfate free shampoo. Sulfates are just very harsh on the hair. Definitely stay away from like styling products with petroleum and mineral oil, because those can clog the hair follicle. And remember we was talking earlier about scalp, keeping the scalp in good condition. You don't need to put grease on your hair. That's basically like petroleum. I would stay away from things that have petroleum and mineral oil. But yeah, those are the main things: petroleum, mineral oils, sulfates, parabens,
some
alcohols, and phthalates can be bad for the hair too. Can just be harsh. But I mean, like, you got so many hair brands now. They don't have any of that stuff in it. Natural products. Typically, if you can't like eat it, you shouldn't be putting it on your head anyway. So I always think the more natural, the better. The more natural your product is, the better. So yeah.
Okay, so last question: would you bleach your hair? If yes, would you go to a professional? So I personally would never bleach my hair. I don't want to. I don't got time for that. But if I did, I would definitely go to a professional.
Definitely. If your hair is chemically processed, do not bleach your hair, because it will fall out eventually.
My best friend bleached her hair. She was relaxed and she just did like weekly deep conditions and it was fine, but I wouldn't recommend it.
She bleached her whole head?
No, it's just like the ends.
Oh, okay. That's different. You can bleach like a part of your hair, maybe do highlights,
a section or something.
But I would not bleach your whole hair.
Oh, and whatchamacallit got bleached her hair?
Who?
The girl on Instagram that be doing the roller sets.
Latrice?
Yeah.
She bleached one part, like a little piece.
Right.
But yeah, she be telling people not to bleach their hair either.
Oh, she did? I mean, I just say, if you're gonna do it, go to a professional. If you're gonna do it, keep up with it. Do deep conditions like all the time.
Don't bleach your hair if you lazy.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, any further questions after this, leave them down in the comments section. Make sure you follow Essence on Instagram. I'll leave her Instagram here on the screen. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram as well. Remember, guys, do what you love and love what you do. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.